So if I flip it to you, Abdallah, and I say, all right, if Tennessee won free agency, who are some of the losers? Who's the biggest loser of NFL free agency so far as we are in day 4 here on a Thursday? At this point in free agency, who's the biggest loser?
Ooh, the biggest loser so far.
Losers.
You're
a loser.
The biggest losers so far. Well, the team that's lost a lot of players, or at least is about to maybe lose a lot of players. And I don't think that they've actually lost a lot because they just keep reloading. And they're a product of their own good drafting and the ability to acquire good players. The Philadelphia Eagles, it seems like they've lost a lot.
Yeah.
Like Jalen Phillips leaving, obviously, but they acquired him for basically nothing and then just had him for the year and then he left. So that was fine. And they'll get a compensatory pick because of it. So that's okay. But they have a lot of players that they need to actually work out those contracts and they just kind of keep reloading. We presume that they're going to lose A.J. Brown, but if they get a first-round pick back, Howie Roseman's a good enough GM. Like, I trust them to not end up being losers of this off-season period.
The way I would view that is when a team trades away a player and gets back draft capital, that to me in my head, I don't categorize that as a loss.
Yeah.
That to me is building a smart football team.
Mm-hmm.
What I categorize as a loss are the teams who have just let guys walk and they're not signing anyone to replace.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there are a couple of teams that kind of fit that bill. I mean, there are some situations with some of the players with the Eagles where like Nakobe Dean's gone,
Okay.
Reed Blankenship is gone. So like, yeah, I could see. But like A.J. Brown, if you trade A.J. Brown, you get back draft capital, I'm okay with that.
If you get a first-round pick and you replace those guys for cheaper options.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. Seattle is a team that's interesting. You know, you win a championship, and it's tough to bring everyone back. And it does feel like Seattle hasn't really done much here in free agency. I think Seattle is one of those teams. I think Chicago is one of those teams where Chicago today is not as good as I thought they were at the end of last season. They haven't really done anything. Now, I'm not going to fault them for trading DJ Moore to get back draft capital. It's the same thought I have with Philadelphia with A.J. Brown. But with some of the players that they let go that were released and left and signed elsewhere, I don't know if the Chicago Bears are better today than they were at the end of last season. And I think we can say the same about the Seattle Seahawks. So I think there are some teams that really haven't done anything here in free agency. And you kind of have to look at it and question, like, you know, is that equate to losing? Because the real answer to losing free agency is when we get a year from now and the players that were signed are all busts. That's when you really lose. Like Miami. Yes, you sign Malik Willis.
Yeah, come on.
To a huge contract.
But they're also trying to tank and they're trying to get back as much draft capital as they can, and they're trying to get the number 1 pick. So I understand what they're doing. I think that the contract doesn't work in their favor with him being tied up for a second year of a lot of money. I think when you look at the Seahawks, losing Kobe Bryant, he did sign with the Bears because the Bears didn't have a lot of safeties, but their defense was so good that you can't re-sign everybody. You can't keep everybody. And if Kobe Bryant had to leave, then so be it. They lost Kenneth Walker, but their team, you're not in a position where you're going to pay Kenneth Walker that much money. What the Kansas City Chiefs end up giving Kenneth Walker. Championship teams don't do that.
No, I agree with you. I totally agree. When there are players who are free agents who are deserving of contracts who leave to go elsewhere and they get their payday, you can't fault the team. But then you have to look and see, did they replace those players that left? And I think that's where with Seattle, with Chicago, with Philadelphia, some of these teams that were very good teams last season, playoff or Super Bowl caliber teams, did they fill in, or is it going to be the draft that makes the difference? If you have a good draft class, it could counterbalance those vets who are leaving, who cost a lot of money, with players who don't cost a lot, who maybe are the next wave of players. And that's where you look for the NFL draft at the end of April to kind of figure that out. Another team that I would say, I think fans of this team are going to be upset that I'm going to say this team is a loser in free agency. And I'm talking directly to a city that's about 3.5 to 4 hours south of where we're sitting right now. We're sitting in the city of Chicago. Indianapolis. You give that much money to Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce. What? Like, what? What are you doing?
You had to.
Oh, you don't have to do anything.
You absolutely had to.
No, you don't.
You had to. You tied yourself to Daniel Jones. You absolutely did. You did it back in November.
Fine. Whenever you decided to do that, loser.
You're a loser.
Okay.
Loser.
Because
who? The her.
Loser.
here's the problem. When you traded away your first round pick this year.
I understand.
And your first round pick this year. Because here's the thing.
I understand the pickle that they're in. I get it.
Even if you had a first round pick this year, you're not drafting a quarterback, okay? So you could say, okay, we don't have Daniel Jones. We're going to sign, let's say, Kyler Murray. And we'll be good that way. Well, you gave Daniel Jones this transition tag, and now you're stuck there. Okay, so you can't do that. Maybe they could have signed Malik Willis. They're not going to do that. You had to sign Alec Pierce because you don't have a first-round pick to draft a wide receiver. You can't use a first-round pick next year on a quarterback if you were too bad because you don't have a first-round pick next year because even if you signed Malik Willis and you decided to tank or you kept Anthony Richardson.
I get it.
You already released Anthony Richardson. If you decided to keep Anthony Richardson.
Loser.
You can't do anything. You hamstrung yourself.
Yes.
This way.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think Colts fans would be upset because they got the guy that they wanted and they kept their wide receiver. It's like, yeah, but you're paying how much to those two players?
You're
really?
A loser.
Loser.
Losers.
Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. If you want to call the show, you want to join us, you want to call out a loser, you can call us at 310-840-4910. Mike in California, you're on with Bleck Abdalla. What's up, Mike?
Hey, guys, enjoying your show. I just got turned on to it recently, and I've been really enjoying it, so thank you very much.
Thanks,
you, Mike.
Mike. Appreciate it.
Well, I'm 73 years old, Vietnam vet, blah, blah, blah. So I've been disabled for a while, so I'm a sports talk junkie. Listen to shows all over the country. And but I want to turn you on to the best single gambling scenario I've ever heard of. It's the most conservative one I've ever heard of, and it's the most profitable and most, for sure. I've been playing it 22 years.
Okay.
It's called the home dog strategy in baseball. So you go with start at the first regular season game, takes 5 minutes a day. You find all the home dogs, game one of the 3-game, 4-game series.
Yep.
You take the home dog. If he loses, you double down the second game.
Yeah.
If he loses again, you double down the third game. Based on the idea that very few teams get swept at home normally, doesn't matter about pitchers, it averages about a 68, 69% return on your money over. And I've been doing it for a long time. And it doesn't take any time. Pitchers have no bearing on it whatsoever. So I thought you might be interested.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Yeah, thanks for the phone call.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Call again, all right, my man?
Yeah, sure.
There he is. There's Mike in California. To be fair, I've heard of something like that before.
Yeah.
We know someone here in Chicago who has told me that what they do is it's kind of along the same lines that Mike is describing, but it's betting on the winner. It's betting on the better team.
Yes.
So when you have a team like the Dodgers, the Dodgers are so unlikely to get swept in a series that you just
keep betting.
You keep betting the Dodgers, assuming that they're going to win 3 or 4 of every 4-game set for the entire series.
2 out of
season.
3, yeah.
So I have heard of I don't really bet too much on baseball occasionally, but I have heard of stuff like that. Which is fun to kind of think about as we get set for baseball season.
Yeah, and if you're going to do your betting, do it at DraftKings and use code BNDA. That's BNDA for Bleck Abdalla at DraftKings.
Quickly, Lewis and Lyle, you're on with Bleck Abdalla. What's up, Lewis?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. So first off, love to hear that, or at least I believe you guys are fans of King of the Hill after hearing all of those shots of Hank shouting loser. Loving that.
Loser.
Biggest loser, if you ask me, by the way, are Packers fans who got salty after the Bears won. that
Okay.
playoff game. But the reason that I called Abdalla, you guys were talking about how the NFL, the only way to really get too saturated with the NFL is if they expand the playoffs, and it would not oversaturate if you started playing Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. You get the idea. My thought is, and I ran this by Carm a little while ago, a way to actually prevent tanking whilst actually expanding playoffs and not oversaturating would be if you played like Monday through Friday, teams that are eliminated from the playoffs in a consolation, similar to what you have in fantasy football. The winner of that tournament will end up getting the number 1 overall pick. That way you won't have any, you can eliminate tanking. Teams are actually going to want to play. People are actually going to want to watch those games because they're going to want to know if they're getting Arch Manning next year, or whoever the number 1 overall pick ends up being. But it'll be a great way to
Lewis, and thank you for your phone call, Lewis. Appreciate it. He's talking about Carmen DeFalco, our good friend from Chicago that we worked with for many years. I would say this. No, I don't think anyone's worried about tanking in the NFL. You don't need to fix tanking in the NFL.
No.
Now, it's the NBA that everyone wants to talk about and they're worried about with tanking in the NBA. But I don't think we need a solution for tanking in the NFL.
Here's the problem with that. And I've heard this before. I haven't heard the tournament idea before. I've heard you get the 2 worst teams in the NFL to play and the winner gets the number 1 pick. You're asking 2 quarterbacks to play for their replacement.
Right. That's not going to happen.
Like,
here's the idea. This is the idea. No quarterbacks.
No quarterback?
You play 1 game
without a quarterback?
Without quarterbacks.
I've seen the Bears play against the Giants do that, and they lost that game.
It could be 1 game, no quarterbacks, only punting. The 2 teams just punt the football back and forth.
So, and again, you have to get the owners you'd have to increase the salary cap because you'd have to get more players because the rosters, you're asking for more like there's so much like the logistical nightmare that is this scenario because players would want longer contracts and bigger money because they're playing more games because the eliminated teams would be playing. I know that the teams that make the playoffs play more games, but the incentive is winning a Super Bowl.
Yes.
The incentive here is half of you are getting replaced. You know, like we're here. How about we play? And the prize that you're getting is that if you win, we're getting a higher pick, so more of you can be replaced with better players.